What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GGuard challenge. This is going to be a best of 3 between the aforementioned GGuard and Can't Say Whips. Of course, for this challenge, it's going to be everyone versus GGuard, or GGuard versus the world. However you want to put it, they're going to be going up against pretty much everyone who's relevant in the Southeast Asian scene. And winner, if it's not GGuard, gets $500. If it is GGuard, they get, pretty much nothing. But that's what makes it interesting, because CSW are playing for cash, whereas GGuard are playing for pride. I'm Mikelorus, going to be one of your casters. Danelie is here as well. How are you doing today?
That's looking pretty good for me. I'm very full of dinner, so I'm not going to be complaining about hunger anytime soon. So we're going to have Can't Say Whips today. Now, I've watched quite a few of their games. They love to draft a lot of pushing heroes. They love to go for Leshrac. They love their Chen. They love their Beastmaster. They'll draft Tinker. They'll get Naga Siren. Can't Say Whips, a lot of the times their drafts, it's based on grabbing kills and grabbing objectives. That's it. They don't go for the late game. They don't do anything like that. They just go straight for those objectives. The weakness is that if they lose the lanes, it's very difficult for them to recover. So they really are going to have to rely on the fact that they need to win their lanes and they have to grab these objectives fast. But they're going up against GGuard, who loves to run those aggressive heroes, like Yamate on the Storm Spirit, or you can see Winter on the Batrider, or maybe even just the two supports, Ling and Net, just being super aggressive themselves. So I feel like we're going to be in for a very action-packed game. Nothing passive, we're just going to see a lot of action around the map.
That's all I ever want to see. Action is good. Makes for a good viewing experience for sure. Let's take a look at this draft. We do have that Chen ban out. CSW do love running that, as you have just said. So GGuard definitely doing their homework there. And then aside from that, just a whole bunch of overall powerful heroes. CSW going to waste no time at grabbing that Beastmaster. This is probably part 1 as far as putting together their super early game focused draft. Beastmaster, a pretty good hero in lane, rather tanky, and well, with that aura, if you do level up any of those, if you do put any of your levels into that aura, you can put some serious hurt onto those towers. So it's not your usual first pick, but as you said, if CSW really are just intent on that game plan of be aggressive, then well, it doesn't really get much better than the Beastmaster. Maybe Axe is a little bit better, but that's GGuard's right now.
Yeah, Can't Say Whips. With this Beastmaster, though, I feel like this is going to be the offlane Beastmaster. They do sometimes play it as a position for support. It doesn't really work too well because you need those levels on your Beastmaster, but GGuard, they have to be very careful when they're dealing with this Beastmaster, because if he goes for an early point into Call of the Wild, that boar, if it's only going to be a solo support harassing out the Beastmaster, there is a chance that 2D, who may be playing the Beastmaster, can kill them. We've seen this in the past. I'm not sure if I casted with you, but I was watching a game. It was a solo offlane Beastmaster up against a dual lane, and the Lion was trying to harass the Beastmaster out of the lane. And then all of a sudden, you've got the boar on you, your Lion is slowed. There's no way for you to escape, so you got to be very careful. We'll see how GGuard wants to react to the Beastmaster, or whether they want to try and attack those other lanes instead of that Beastmaster lane.
Yeah, I just actually, I don't know if that was me that you're talking about as far as that particular game is concerned, but just saw a dual offlane Beastmaster yesterday, and it absolutely thrashed the defensive safe lane, because Beastmaster is really, really tanky. He has a lot of health. He has something like 4 base armor to start things off, maybe a little bit more. If, I don't recall exactly how much armor he starts out with, but it's a lot. If you get a fast medallion, the amount of physical he can put out between the boar, between his axes, is insane. And if you are going up against a hero who is a little bit lighter on the armor side, then they're just not going to stand a chance. You'll win every single man fight that you get into, and with that pig, you're not going to let the enemies escape. So there is a lot of danger here in the Beastmaster, but as you said, in a 4 position, supporty Beastmaster, maybe things aren't going to be as dominant for him. It's a Phoenix pick second for Can't Say Whips, as well GGuard, they grab the Axe, they grab the Queen of Pain, a hero for Yamate to go towards that mid lane. This is a rather early Phoenix, and this is a hero that is pretty easily countered in lane. Just get ranged supports. Skywrath Mage is my personal favorite counter, but yeah, this Phoenix may or may not have a great time against what GGuard are up to picking.
I feel like the next two heroes, or basically the last three heroes that Can't Say Whips wants to go for, I feel like they're either going to have to build around this Phoenix, or this Phoenix is just going to be that position for counter team fight Phoenix we see a lot of the times. Like, we see offlane Phoenixes, but because Can't Say Whips has a Beastmaster, then I feel like the Beastmaster is going to be the better option to put in the offlane, unless they want to go for something quirky. We have seen mid Beastmasters being run by Can't Say Whips. It's very rare, it's very situational, they won't run it all the time, it is just an option. But I feel like this is going to be a position for Phoenix. A couple of heroes that I would see from Can't Say Whips to come up with the Phoenix, if they want to go for a lot of magical burst, I don't really want to say it, but I feel like they're going to come up with a Leshrac. Like I mentioned this before, they love those pushing heroes, so Leshrac would be a good support to put with the Phoenix. The only problem is they don't have any setup for the stun. So I don't know. Like, yeah, I find it really weird for them to draft a Phoenix so early. I would have rather have it during the second phase, unless there is a plan with this Phoenix.
And there probably is. We often see Phoenix partnered up with the likes of Treant Protector or Enigma or anyone with these really big ultimates, which forces the enemies into, you either sit in the supernova and die, or you try and run away and you're caught in CC and you die anyway. So it's a lose-lose situation there if they do decide to go for that. Mid lane Beastmaster, I actually kind of like mid lane Beastmaster. Maybe not up against a Queen of Pain. That is just not going to be a fun time for the Beastmaster. But if you do go mid, you do typically get a little bit more of that aura. So your pushing, if it really is going to be your plan, is going to be a little bit stronger. As far as Leshrac is concerned, well, I mean, sure, I'll make that prediction as well, since if we're wrong, what we don't lose anything, and if we're right, we look like freaking geniuses. But for GGuard, they're going to take out the Storm Spirit, Jar Ranger, looks like CSW, taking out the Jug, as well as the Witch Doctor. I mean, not really super hard counters towards that Phoenix, so maybe CSW just really comfortable about running this Phoenix, and they'll think that he's going to have a good time no matter what. That may be a little bit of a flawed decision, however. We'll see, as GGuard do grab that Skywrath Mage. One of, if not the hardest hard counter to Phoenix in lane. You can just silence him out of that dive, and then he just loops right back around, and, well, you'll be able to put a lot of damage into the rather soft Phoenix hero.
If this is going to be a Corlina, this is going to be such a good Lion game if Can't Say Whips draft it themselves. If you look at these heroes on GGuard, you've got an Axe, you've got a Queen of Pain. They're two heroes that want to jump into the middle of the fight. Queen of Pain for the burst, your Axe for the control. This would be such a good Lion game with having the Earth Spike, having the Hex to really lock down these incredibly mobile heroes. But then again, it's a bit of a different story when you run a Abaddon. I haven't seen an Abaddon for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too. It's really just anti-Beastmaster tech. The Roar is 9 times out of 10 going to be for CSW what they want to use to start fights, and you can't really start many fights if the Roar lasts for like less than a second, if Abaddon is actually in position with that shield. Of course, also good versus Lena, you can take out the Fire Spirit attack speed debuff as well. So this Abaddon, usually we see it more up against, Bat Riders and the supporty stunny Morphlings nowadays, but there is quite a bit of CC on Can't Say Whips, and their lanes are looking strong enough, GGuard, that they could get away with running maybe a weaker laner in that Abaddon support. So, yeah, this is actually a pretty decent pick for GGuard. They just need someone to actually protect for the late game farm, and then I think they're going to be golden. So, not sure who is going to be that hero, but maybe they don't want to go for the super, super late game, expecting some aggression from CSW.
Yeah, probably. But with this Abaddon pick, though, it means that GGuard will only be able to be aggressive with the Skywrath Mage. Abaddon, he's just going to be there for the counter TPs, for the aphotic shields if necessary. So their roaming potential with the supports is a little weak just because you're only going to be having one roam. But once the Axe gets levels and that Blink Dagger, once the Queen of Pain has levels as well, then I can definitely see GGuard going on the aggressive. And with GGuard, though, they typically don't run those late game carries or those heroes that are so dependent on farm. They love to run things that just needs a little bit of farm and can join those team fights. So
10 seconds.
I'm not too sure what they could really go for at this point, because one of Ben's main heroes, I believe, is that Juggernaut. I see him play a lot of it. It is banned out by Can't Say Whips. We're not going to really see that. What heroes do you typically run in the safe lane that will come online ASAP?
Well, if you want them to come online really, really quickly, then, hell, you could run pretty much anyone. Phantom Assassin seems like a decent one right now. I think as far as late game power, she has probably the fastest come online time, although Gyrocopter Luna are really the ones that come online the soonest, since level 6, or hell, even before that, you're good to go. Gyrocopter looks okay here, but the rarity of those heroes would make that a little bit less likely for GGuard. They have some options. They can also go Phantom Lancer. They can go for Carry Morphling, really. I don't really see many hard counters from the CSW side. They grabbed a Treant Protector as their 4th pick, so their lanes are going to be a little bit awkward. The Treant Phoenix combo certainly is very nice for the later game team fights, but actually getting there might be a little bit rough. Lina mid, Phoenix, offlane Beastmaster safe? Is that what we're looking at for CSW?
This has to be a position for Phoenix. They can't, I don't know. If these are the 3 cores for Can't Say Whips, I feel like it's a bit weak. Because you've got a Lina who's going to be probably the only hero that will scale into the late game. Your Phoenix, he'll cap out eventually. He can't really build physical damage items because he just doesn't build that way as a hero. Beastmaster, he could probably go in that direction, but let's be honest, Mike, not many Beastmasters get as much farm like that in the late game. Typically, they're in the front lines, and they're probably the most likely hero to die the first, because you don't want your tree in the front, because you always want him there in the back lines with the overgrowth. Well, Zeus last pick for GGuard. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's not what I expected. Like, that's definitely not your physical right-click hero that I was expecting to come out. I want to believe that GGuard are going to be running a core Abaddon.
Yes.
I know that that's probably not likely, but I'm holding out for it, because Zeus Queen of Pain acts as a 3-core lineup. They're pretty good for 30 minutes, and then they really start to fall off. So the downside of that, I mean, it's a lot to deal with. CSW, they don't have like supreme late game. They're not working with a Medusa or anything like that just yet. But if GGuard do run those 3 heroes as their 3 cores, then they're going to put themselves on a timer, and that's a timer that they're working without any real pushing heroes. Oh, hello.
Ooh.
It's a Bloodseeker for CSW. I love it.
You love it. Well, it's different, to say the least. But these are very awkward lanes for Can't Say Whips. Like, we can tell what heroes are going to go into what lanes, but their lanes, I feel, are very weak. They've got a lot of defensive capabilities, but they can't really put any sort of pressure onto GGuard until they get some levels in this Lina, levels in the Phoenix, levels into... They just need their levels. So Can't Say Whips, their role this game, they need to get levels on their heroes as quick as possible and just go for those counter initiation kind of TPs if GGuard wants to go on the aggressive. We know it's going to happen. You look at GGuard's draft, you have to say, they want to kill us if you Can't Say Whips. GGuard wants to kill you. They don't want to give you their $500. So we'll see how it goes, though. But, man, this is going to be such an interesting game.
Yeah, CSW, like, I think part of it is because they have 3 melee heroes, and these 3 melee heroes aren't exactly supreme melee hero lane controllers. Like you would say, Axe he's a melee hero, but he dominates a lane. That's just how he rolls. Beastmaster, Bloodseeker, Treant Protector, they do okay, but it's really nothing fantastic coming out from them. But let's see who's going to be playing what. This is, of course, game 1 of the best of 3, guys. I forgot to make it a best of 3, but I'll make it there in the second game, and then everything will be fine later. For the GGuard side, they're going to be defending their $500. It's Winter on the Axe offlane. Looks like Yamate is going to be playing the Queen of Pain mid. No surprises there. Ben is on the Zeus right now with Net on the Abaddon. That's a ward and a supporty looking Abaddon. That's kind of depressing. And then Ling is going to be on the Scarith Mage.
Mike's a little depressed there, but that's okay. So on the side of Can't Say Whips, you have actually everybody on Can't Say Whips down the bottom lane, so they really want that bottom rune. This is not a nice name, but we have Godot, who's going to be playing our Beastmaster coming in towards the river. We have, okay, I'm not too sure who this is on the Bloodseeker. This is not helpful. We got Wedding Crash on the Lina though, 2D on the Phoenix, and lastly we've got Kai. I don't know who Tree, and I have no idea who Bloodseeker is.
343, I don't know.
3-4, yes, I know 343 runs support, so that's 343 on the Tree and Chains. On our Bloodseeker. Can't Say Whips, why you do this to me?
Close enough. Close enough. We'll call them whatever they tag themselves as. We do have a Treant Protector posed pretty aggressively behind the GGuard lineup. However, no boots first, Treant Protector, not really the most aggressive hero in the game, though he does have a monstrous attack damage. And, man, that punch really hurts like hell. He can't really punch people that often, and with the Phoenix's help, that's not really going to change. So this dual offlane here from CSW, Phoenix Treant Protector, I mentioned before that it was a pretty good combo. That combo doesn't really work until level 6 comes up. Before then, these 2 heroes are pretty much just going to get demolished by this Zeus Skywrath Mage kind of dual lane actually coming out from GGuard. Hell of a lot of magic damage here, and well, it's a lot of magic damage that these two kind of weaker laners from CSW aren't really going to be easily able to handle.
It's not just really, it's not just the fact that they have a lot of magic damage, but it's also spells that they can spam. And when you have this living armor, if all GGuard has to do is just pretty much spam 2D with right clicks and spells, and that's just going to waste the living armor. And I don't know. So this is a very awkward lane for CSW, but so long as they get levels, like I mentioned before, they just need levels on all these heroes. I'm surprised they actually put Godot up in the safe lane up against Winter, but I guess if you think about it, not many heroes can go up against an Axe, and in particular, the kind of heroes that CSW drafted, even though their supports probably could come in to try and kill Winter, they are very low on lockdown. They have almost no lockdown aside from their Lina.
And that Lina has her hands full over in the mid lane. Winter is just happily creep cutting the top lane, net right behind him with only a coil, so not the most useful support there, but Godot's gonna get caught with the call. Winter gets a couple of lucky spins, and does he want to dive this? Beastmaster does have boots, but Winter is Axe. Let's see how much he actually cares. He'll go straight in. Net is gonna intercept Godot, who's actually gonna slip right around him. I didn't think there was gonna be room there. Here comes the tree. Has already used living armor. Now Net overcommitted just a little bit of body blocking, plus the beatdown. Net's gonna be first blood. Godot is gonna be the one to draw it, and Winter can do nothing but watch. And over towards mid, Wedding Crash in a little bit of trouble, but the living armor is going to keep the Lina safe there. Yamate doing a pretty good job at handling this Lina, but up towards top, that definitely wasn't the play that GGuard were expecting. They're going to leave the Phoenix on the offlane solo. I think that's probably the right decision, but that's one of the few isolated times, I think, where the Treant Protector can actually help out this top lane.
Yeah, so I said that they weren't going to do well, but CSW managed to grab first blood out of it. I'm pretty sure GGuard wasn't prepared for Godot to actually come in through the corner there, or actually miss a kill. So that's going to be Wedding Crash going down into the hands of Yamate as well as Ling. So nice pickup for GGuard. But yeah, that was a very unexpected gank for CSW. It looked like Godot was going to go down, but with the really cute play, it really worked out in their favor.
Oh no, mid. Courier, you're
Oh,
so
no.
slow. Rest in peace, Courier. That had a bottle. Yamate just got a kill, so things aren't going to be so bad for this Queen of Pain. But that's pretty much the worst thing that could happen to your mid lane. It might even be worse, it might even be better just to give up a death to the enemy mid laner, as the Lina just did. But Kite is going to walk away with a very free Courier pickoff, courtesy of that Invis rune. Treant Protector, one of the few heroes that could actually kill off that Courier in one hit. Most heroes, unless they're loaded up on their primary stat items, are going to take a little bit more. So Treant to the right place at the right time, and got a good read on Yamate. He's going to be slowed down by quite a bit, but still I don't really think it's going to be hurting GGuard that much. Still, Winter is dominating the top lane as to be expected. Bottom lane, Zeus doing just fine up against now a solo Phoenix. So even though mid lane, it's going to be slowed down a little bit, it was already doing pretty well.
Yeah, so I guess this is going to be a bit of a downtime for Yamate, because he can't play too aggressive up against the Wedding Crash, especially when he picks up his own bottle, because we know how much damage output that Alina can throw at her mid lane opponents. So I feel like at this point Yamate is just going to have to play a little bit more passive, throw any sort of aggression that he can onto Wedding Crash to try and zone him out before that bottle reaches him, but until the bottle arrives, Wedding Crash, he's going to be a little bit more cautious. He can't really get caught. He's running Alina, a hero that needs to come online as soon as possible, and also has to grab a Blink Dagger or a Yule Scepter as quick as possible as well. Just because her immobility just really limits the potential of Alina. Obviously, if you gave more turn rate to Alina, which would be amazing, then maybe the hero would be all in her own category, but for the moment, we'll see how we go. Wedding Crash, just keep CSing, my friend. Yamate for now. You gotta hang in there till your bottle gets back. Up top there's gonna be a bit of aggression. We have Godot trying to jump onto Winter, but Axe is a very, very tanky hero. Do they really want to commit for this? The board's still chasing, and they are just gonna disperse. So they're not gonna try and commit for the kill, especially with the Aphotic Shield on the Axe.
And this is a tri-lane of 3 melee heroes versus Axe. I don't really like their odds there. He's gonna get a free call pretty much every single time, and without any CC, or I mean, I guess they have the Blood Circle eventually to get rid of the possibility of that call, but that's probably not going to happen either. So Axe should still have a free roll up in this top lane. Wedding Crash does have his bottle flying out to him right now, but Yamate's only a minute from his, so all things considered, not too delayed in the bottle timings for both of these heroes. Even though, I mean, Lina did go down. GGuard still sitting pretty, but again, GGuard, because they decided to run this core Zeus in the bottom lane, they are kind of on a timer. They're going to get a call onto the Bloodseeker up towards top. A couple of spins there, but Axe only level 4, can't really do too much. Now here comes Godot. One pig already, someone's going to go straight for Winter with a DD rune, or maybe not really. He's going to walk in, punch him once, and then leave. Okay, that was a little bit awkward, but again, it's an Axe. You can't really do too much to him.
Yeah, and then you got Net behind him with the Orthotic Shield, so it's a very, very deadly lane. You don't want to overcommit to these two heroes because they're both tanky. You've got healing, you've got the shielding. It's just CSW, if they want to grab a kill on these heroes, they have to catch Winter by himself or they have to isolate Net when he's on his own. But these two heroes, they're staying together because they know that they're strong as a duo. But I'm really dreading this laning phase for CSW. It's so strange and it's doing okay. It's doing okay. They're staying even. They're not falling behind. But their draft is going to fall off so hard to GGuard unless they can get some of those crucial kills online. And when Yamate starts rotating around CSW, they don't really have the best heroes for counterplays. They don't have too many disables. They're running no silences. So there's no control for Yamate or Winter. So CSW, they're going to have to really decide who do they want to... Actually, they have a silence. I forgot the Bloodseeker. Oh, I wonder why, because you don't see Bloodseeker anymore.
And his silence is not good versus Queen of Pain. Like, you'll throw it on the ground, she'll just blink away, and then you're golden. Net over in the top river is going to get initiated upon. LSA is there, plus a Dragon Slave. Sonic Wave through as Yamate jumps in with the Zeus ultimate as well. Wedding Crash is going to die immediately to the Shadow Strike. Now we can pretend Chains is on the way out. Zeus is going to contribute from the bottom lane. Give Yamate a triple kill. Oh my god, the burst damage is real. Sonic Wave on 3, I think, plus of course Thunder God's Wrath on all of them. CSW just got absolutely demolished, and those are the types of plays that GGuard need if they're going to actually win this game in a timely manner. But man, Ben contributing with that ultimate, and when you land 2 ultimates perfectly like that, it's just going to be kills everywhere. CSW get absolutely demolished.
That was a play from GGuard. That's the advantage when you run a Zeus. He doesn't even have to be at the team fight. Just throw Thunder God's Wrath. That's going to be a 225 damage nuke all over the map to everybody. So when you're running so much nuke damage on the side of GGuard, I'm pretty sure that that Ben is going to be happy to just sit in lane. And it looks like he's trying to go for a Midas. He has just picked up a Glove of Haste, and well, what else is Zeus going to build with the Glove of Haste? He's not going to go for treads. He's got Arcane Boots, so obviously he's going to be running... yeah, Maelstrom for a Zeus, because he did...
The only thing better than Arc Lightning is more Arc Lightning.
Oh, man.
Standard builds. Hey, you don't put a Zeus on a safe lane if you're not going to plan on getting him a lot of farm.
just give him the yellow hand.
Oh, man.
Just give him the money slap.
Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. Up towards top, Winter is now going to get some extra backup. Has the Skywrath Mage here, who's also level 6. Ling has been doing some leveling in the background. Beastmaster isn't quite at that level, nor the Treant Protector. They could very easily dive Godot right now, even though there is only 1 point in Berserker's Call right now for this Axe. If Godot does get called, the Mystic Flare damage should be enough to just instantly burst the Beastmaster down. Here comes the initiation. There's the hunger to slow him down. Winter is going to look for that call. He's not quite going to find it. Now here comes the Phoenix. Winter all of a sudden is without his supports. They had to disengage to the left, though he's not taking any damage here, so that's fine. Leech Seed doesn't really do that much, and Winter gets to walk out freely. He even has a Vanguard, so even if he was really aggressed upon, he'll be fine to shrug most of it off. Now going for 2D perhaps. There is a 4th hero up here for GGuard. It's Yamate, who is spotted, I believe, by this Hawk. But CSW, these 2 heroes, Phoenix and Beastmaster, they're caught in a corner. Phoenix can dive out. Beastmaster cannot. Can't hitch a ride on his Hawk or anything like that. So they're just stuck in this corner. They do have supports coming in from the right side, though. Net is going to get hit with the Rupture and the Roar. Lots of damage on this Abaddon. They're going to try to bring down support, and they will very quickly. But 2D, also caught in the ultimate of the Skywrath Mage, will go down as Yamate cleans up 2 with the Sonic Wave. That's a 3 for 2 in favor of GGuard. Godot, Wedding Crash, Soul Survivors here. And Zeus Ultimate once again helping out the GGuard squad. But Yamate's Sonic Waves, man, they've been hitting so many people, and he's going to go for a little bit more. Blink blindly into the trees. He's going to wait until he sees Godot. No, he's not. He's going to unleash the Blink, the Scream prematurely. Now it's a straight TP. Here comes the tree. No overgrowth, however, and Godot already used the Roar. It was good initiation, I suppose, for CSW going for the Abaddon. That's the problem here. That's the hero you have to take down, but Queen of Pain's damage simply too much at 9 minutes in.
They had to throw everything to kill Net on the Abaddon. They had to use the Roar, they had to use the Rupture. So you look and see how much they have to commit to killing one hero on GGuard, and the Abaddon's going to be an issue as well if they try and go for a different target. So, what's CSW's game plan now? They haven't really won the lanes. They're at quite a level disadvantage. They've got a level 4 support Treant Protector. Yes, there's a level 5 Abaddon on the other side, but if you take into consideration their spells and what they do with each level, I would take an Abaddon over a Treant Protector any day when you take a look at their levels. Just because Abaddon can give you so much more than a tree. He gives you a little bit, but he needs that level 6 to have some more utility with the overgrowth. I missed out on 2 kills though. They managed to get 2. They get Ben as well as Ling on the Scarith Mage, so nice pickups there for CSW. They got some counter kills. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going and grab a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they have to do is use the Bloodseeker, because Bloodseeker is oh so good versus the Zeus. He's great versus the Scarith Mage, very easily killed off targets there. Adding 2D into the mix just for a little bit of extra experience for that Phoenix. Maybe get a Hand of Midas for himself. And, well, CSW do have a lot of pick-off potential. That's really where their lineup excels until they get to their team fight levels. Yamate, though, gonna eat a Laguna to the dome. 50 HP, Queen of Pain is going to die. I didn't actually see the Lina right-click in that, but I guess she did get it out. Queen of Pain at the wrong place, wrong time. That's just another portion of the single target pick-off power that the CSW side have with Godot's Roar. Use Roar and Rupture to get kills, maybe not on the same target. That's what I think probably caused them to have such a bad team fight up on the top lane. But if you separate your targets, if you go, you know, Beastmaster for one, Bloodseeker to the other, then they could very easily get picks on the G-Guard side. And because Abaddon can't be everywhere at once, especially if you go for Abaddon, he has to help defend himself. Maybe a little bit less so now that he has his level 6. But Abaddon can only protect one person at a time against these really heavy-hitting single-target ultimates from CSW.
Yeah, also take into consideration all these ultimates have relatively low cooldown, so if CSW wants to, they can really partake in these fights a little bit more frequently than GGuard would like. They have a Queen of Pain, her ultimate's at about 135 seconds, it's actually not that long, but if you just keep up the aggression, just keep pushing them, Yamate's not going to have all that nuking potential all the time. I guess the same goes with the Thunder God's... Actually, never mind. Thunder God's Wrath is on a relatively low cooldown. It's about a minute and a half for that, so you could really spam it out. So I think I really, really want for CSW to just kind of recollect themselves as a team. They've done it good so far in terms of recovery. They just have to keep on going in this direction. They need to grab farm and go for those pickoffs. Never engage on a 5-on-5 engagement, because we've seen it happen twice, and GGuard just completely wiped CSW to the floor. So CSW, they've got to just take it slow, take those quick pickoffs, keep farming. They can stay relevant.
Winter is bleeding out right now, and he's just running through it. What a champ. He's bleeding, no problem there. He's just going to walk right out, and here comes Yamate with a double damage rune to boot. Godot's going to straight TP out. Yamate will hesitate on the Shadow Strike, and We Can Pretend is also going to leave. But in the meantime, bottom lane, Treant Protector is going to get bursted down. Mystic Flare sealed up as well as Thunder God's Wrath. Again, a hell of a lot of magic damage. Here comes Tootie with a deep dive in. I don't think he has enough to kill off Ben, especially with support coming in from Yamate. Tootie's overcommitted. Sonic Wave through. Blink Scream. That'll kill off the Phoenix. Silence is pretty good versus Phoenix, and, well, said it in the draft. This is maybe a little bit later to see that effectiveness, but still it is there. And the Phoenix way too far ahead. Yamate still has double damage rune, though he doesn't see Wedding Crash. It's actually Wedding Crash to get the initiation potential onto Yamate. LSA is going to whiff, however. Queen of Pain now is going to back off safe and sound. They still have the silence here for the Skywrath Mage, and with Yamate's magic damage output, they can very easily get the kills there, but they will back off instead. They're closing in on Axe's Blink Dagger. It's going to come really, really rapidly after a Vanguard. That's a disgusting amount of farm on Winter.
Yeah, Yamate's actually close to his own Aghanims as well, so he's roughly 700 gold off of that. Once he has that Ags, you're going to see Yamate rotating around the map 24/7 with the 40-second cooldown on the Sonic Wave. That's going to be massive. And can CSW protect themselves from Yamate? They can probably try and go for a counter kill, but if they don't have the Roar or an Overgrowth or even a Rupture available, then I don't really see them killing Yamate at all.
Especially if the Abaddon is there. Like, you need the Roar to respond to Yamate's Blink in, but then the Roar doesn't do anything once the shield comes up, so Yamate will have a free roll to try to run out, and as the Queen of Pain does get more levels, her Blink is going to be a shorter and shorter cooldown. This might be a kill on the CSW side if they actually bring in another hero here towards Yamate, but surprise, surprise, Net is here as on the Abaddon. This is something that you're probably going to see for the entirety of the game. Queen of Pain is the one on GGuard who needs the most protection. Her and Zeus. Axe can do his own thing. He's fine, especially since he does have a Blink Dagger flying out to him. So they're going to smoke up right now. Ling and Winter most likely will head towards mid. And Godot's Hawks, they're pretty well spread out. but this is a bad thing for him because he's going to think that he's completely safe, where in actuality, Winter and Ling, a very deadly duo killer combo, are coming in. A blink into a Mystic Flare after call. It's going to be an instant kill on pretty much anyone from CSW still, so it looks like CSW, they will actually back off. That's a pretty nice heads-up play from them.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they actually know this is coming just because there's no one on the side of GGuard aside from Ben. Actually, not even Ben showing himself. He's just hiding behind the tower. So CSW, they're feeling the pressure. They're just going to play defensive at this point. I like this decision. They need to go for an aggressive plays as well, but there are times and it's better just to kind of hide in the trees. Hope that you get a kill that way. But Wedding Crash going to go for the Yule's initiation onto the Queen of Pain. There is going to be net behind him with the heal. There's the Aphotic Shield, so Yamate's going to be okay for a little bit longer, and CSW, you're just going to back up a little bit more. They feel that these heroes are nearby, and rightly so.
Yeah, GGuard are working with a little bit more ward vision around the map right now. Really, it's only the Beastmaster Hawks that's giving CSW any semblance of map control, or at least map vision. They did spot out the Axe and the Scarith Mage wandering around. They knew that they were potentially in a little bit of trouble, but while they were all grouped up in mid, hell, CSW are still all grouped up in mid. The Zeus is farming, and that's usually, not the most dangerous thing, Zeus farming. If it was like a Naga Siren or something, then yeah, CSW will be in a lot of trouble down the line, but he is closing in on his next item. What is it going to be? It's a Soul Ring coming out from him, so Bloodstone most likely in the works. But Yamate already has his Aghanim Scepter up. 7-1-1 on this Queen of Pain. Kite is going to come around, but Ben has been randomly bolting the floor. So if there is an invisible tree there or an invisible anyone there, then the Zeus will know about it pretty quickly. GGuard, they're itching for a fight right now. They have the Blink Dagger on the Axe, and they have the Sonic Wave on that Aghanims. So CSW, they have to try to avoid this as much as they can. I don't think they're ready for a team fight yet. They have the Blade Mail and Bloodseeker, which is really nice, but still it's single target focus where they should be picking their fights for CSW.
Yeah, well, if you look at CSW, I don't think they're going to be ready for a fight at all against GGuard unless they can somehow just step it up a notch and just get ahead of them. If we take a look at the graphs, they're not that far behind in terms of EXP and gold, but they would rather be on even footing, or they would rather be ahead. There is an invisible Wedding Crash though, and I think he wants to try and look for something. Now there is a sentry ward on the ground, so Yamate did spot Wedding Crash, so that's going to be no kill going in the way of CSW, unfortunately. I missed a kill on the Beastmaster though. Well, that was in the jungle, and that was our deadly duo, Winter as well as Ling. And mission accomplished.
Such an easy kill as well. If you land the call, you are guaranteed to land everything else unless the Scarith Mage is drunk. They are still posturing pretty aggressively on the CSW side. There's the Yules up onto Yamate, but Net is right around the corner. There's the heal and the shield. Suddenly Yamate is A-okay to throw out the Sonic Wave, which will instantly kill off the Lina. Now they have to work on this egg, and they will crack through that very easily. Ling grabs a killing spree. Now Kite has no TP out of here. Sentry on the deck, and he has nowhere to run without being seen. He'll die as well to Ling. Suddenly, everyone from GGuard is down in this bottom lane, and CSW once again get completely demolished. Sonic Wave is going to be up again really shortly, and that's really what the Abaddon pick is for, to protect Yamate from those dangerous initiations. Yule's Scepter LSA maybe not as dangerous as Aurora, but that Yule's initiation did pretty much nothing. In fact, it was initiating for GGuard at the end of it.
Yeah, well, that's CSW down yet again. We actually have our Bloodseeker still farming in the top lane. He's picked up a Blade Mail, so it will help him with a little bit of survivability during those team fights, but they haven't been able to really capitalize on that Bloodseeker pick. I would love to see if they could try and rotate the Bloodseeker a little bit more, but just the way that GGuard's playing, it's almost impossible to grab those solo kills or just grabbing those really quick pickoffs. So I want to say props to GGuard this game. They're playing on top of the world, you could say. Whereas CSW, I feel like they've kind of lost their game plan. If you see their movements, they feel a little disorientated. They try and go for these kills, but every time GGuard is there perfectly with their whole team. They have all of their heroes necessary to just defend off CSW. So I don't know how CSW could really come back into the game. I would only say if GGuard somehow have a massive slip up, then maybe that's how we see CSW coming back.
Usually this is about the time, 18-ish minutes in, where your Bloodseeker is supposed to be your most powerful hero. He's supposed to be the one charging around the map, rupturing people, getting kills. We've seen like 3 ruptures from this Bloodseeker, and with such a low cooldown, that is a really low amount of ultimates being casted by this guy, especially when you're going for like someone like a Scarith Mage or a Zeus. a rupture most of the time will mean a kill. Maybe they're going to have a chance down towards bottom lane, is acting as bait, but Winter's right around the corner. There's the call with the Mystic Flare already used. Phoenix is down in an instant. They also see the tree and protector. They do have no Zeus in the area, so maybe this tree gets to live. Sonic Wave blind from Yamate, going the complete wrong direction, but it's Aghanim, so it's fine. It'll be back up soon, and he has a regen rune anyway, so the Treant gets to live, but that was, again, just GGuard luring CSW into a fight that CSW really can't afford to be fighting. Yeah, they need to take more heroes to that fight. Diving a tier 1 is always going to be risky. They actually did look for that tree. Random blink call from Winter, but it looks like the tree was able to teleport out to safety. Either way, the bottom lane tier 1 has been dropped, and now GGuard going to start working on the mid tier 1 as well. They have Zeus, who's still working on that Bloodstone. Nothing too much there, and well, both sides kind of content with just farming it up.
Yeah, it's very surprising. I thought GGuard would just keep on pushing, just keep on grabbing these objectives, but they're saying nope, it's fine, we're ahead, so what's better than being ahead? Just getting even further ahead with more farm. And they do have the hero, basically if you look at their draft, they can farm so much faster than CSW, especially with the kind of cores that they're running. Wedding Crash on the Lina. Lina can farm relatively quickly, but she's also very susceptible to ganks, even though she's got that Yule, she's got no blink, she's pretty slow, even though she's got the phase boots, and her stun is not a reliable stun, so that's not going to save her all the time. But again, we're going to get some more aggression for CSW. Is GGuard going to come back and save it? Or instead, they're going to go on to this poor Bloodseeker. They're just going to throw everything, and well, there used to be a Bloodseeker there.
Yep, there used to be. It's such an easy combination to land for GGuard, and this is like the 4th or 5th time or something like that where they've walked into the CSW woods, have found no one until they find that one target, then instant blink call and he's dead. And there's no one on CSW who can survive that, and with the farm that they're getting from these kills, from just farm in general, the Axe and Skywrath Mage will continue to be able to walk into the CSW jungle and get those kills. Speaking of kills, Yamate gonna go straight for Goat out with the Thunder God's Wrath. Sonic Wave, Blink, Scream, gotta love that combo from a Queen of Pain, and it's a very easy pick off on the Beastmaster. GGuard, they're just feeding off of CSW right now, and it seems like CSW, they, as I said, don't have a game plan. This should be where CSW are looking around the map 24/7 for kills with their Roar, with their Rupture. But I don't even remember the last time I've seen a Roar. It was quite a long time ago, and this is even with the Blink Dagger now up on the Beastmaster. So he has, in theory, the perfect initiation, but in actuality, he's not actually going for it. They're going to go for a mid lane push, GGuard, and with no one here from CSW, this tower is doomed to fall, and it looks like CSW won't even get many trades in the meantime. Like, they're pushing bottom a little bit, but that's not going to get anything. The tier 1 tower is already down, so this one should be free for GGuard. Although Wedding Crash, Godot, they are coming in. It's too late to save their tier 1. They might get initiated upon, and if they die right now, that could be a tier 2 for GGuard. Godot needs to get this bird out, needs to spot these 3 heroes from GGuard, and it will. But, yeah, they still have to actually defend this tower. This is maybe where the Overgrowth Supernova combo comes into play. But that's only if CSW's Kite can get some good Overgrowth action. Right now, he's not in a good position. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger or anything to help reposition.
Yeah, but you got to think about it though. You just can't waltz into GGuard's draft. If you look at the supports on GGuard, they've been pretty good with their Sentry. Just keeping the constant vision on CSW, even though they don't have a Hawk or anything, just making sure that the Treant Protector can't just sneak in all of a sudden through the tree line, just go for that massive overgrowth, which we could potentially see. So it's a very hard game for our Australian team. Although we are going to get a Necro book on our Queen of Pain, so, well, that's some more push, I suppose, for GGuard. I guess they don't really have the best pushing draft. You're running a Queen of Pain and Axe, heroes that don't really chew through the tower that quickly.
Yeah, really, GGuard, the only way that they get these towers is if they either get them for free, which is always the dream, or if they wait for CSW to, try to scrape together a team fight, then mop them up, then take the team fight afterwards, in which case they will, I guess, still be getting it for free. It's just going to go up towards the top lane right now. Yamate actually does have a Necro book, so Yamate gearing up for a little bit of an easier push down the line, and CSW, they're going to try to go for Roshan in the meantime. They have a lot of damage on double damage Bloodseeker, plus someone has a medallion here, it's the Treant. So they will grab that Aegis, making a pretty standard tier 2 for Aegis trade, and GGuard, looks like they will be a little bit defensive and a little bit hesitant about actually initiating into this. they're really bursty GGuard, but really only one time. Killing off any target second time is a lot harder. They're going to get a roar onto Winter. Here comes Wedding Crash, LSA, Laguna Blade onto Winter, shield from Net, not quite enough to save the axe. Now Net's actually in a little bit of trouble. Has borrowed time, will straight TP out, but the Eul Scepter is waiting for him. He'll fall right back into an LSA. Shield tries to go up, but he can't get it off in time. And he will be nuked down by the Lina. It's a 2-kill for CSW plus a Roshan. That's pretty much the best thing that they could hope for, because even though it looked like kind of a team fight, it was really CSW getting 2 consecutive single target pickoffs, and again, that's exactly what they should be looking for.
They so desperately needed those kills. They're probably just sitting there on their knees, just thanking the Dota gods for giving them some kills, but they needed it so badly. And because they got the Roshan before that as well, it's pretty much the cherry on top. So is this going to be the comeback for CSW into the game? I hope so. I would love to see them managing to fight back against GGuard, because we've seen for the most part for this game, GGuard have been controlling the momentum of their game. They've been really, I want to be honest here, they've been stomping CSW in a lot of these engagements. And what can CSW really do? They have very squishy heroes. They don't really have any sort of sustain. They only have pick-off potential. They just can't team fight against GGuard as a whole. So just getting the kill onto Winter as well as Net like that, that's going to help propel them towards those items to help them in those team fights. So we have an Ags on Ellie. I don't know how long Wedding Crash has had this Ags mod. I'm pretty sure it's just recently. So that's going to be one stepping stone towards really bursting down somebody on the side of GGuard. 2D, he's got a mech and he's going to go for what seems to be a 4-star. It's going to be a nice item to help somebody if they are in trouble. Kite, oh, there's actually just an observer ward. So luckily for our Treant Protector here, he is going to live for another day. He actually knows this ward's here, but he doesn't want to hit it. He's saying, okay, if I hit this ward, I think it's a trap. It's a trap. They're trying to beat me.
50 gold? Is it worth your life? Probably not, but you could always maybe try to risk it later on. He is going to go in and punch that ward. Treant Protector with his insane base damage is going to get away from that one, because, again, he could kill these smaller objectives, wards, couriers, in just one hit. So, luckily for the Treant Protector, no punishment is awaiting him there. GGuard just going to back off and farm a little bit more. I'm really concerned with GGuard. You mentioned that CSW do have this comeback potential with their heroes, and GGuard, I mean, they do still have a lot of magic burst damage. That will always hold true in this game, but their scaling is really not that great. Yamate even going for a Necrobook is like an anti-scaling item. If he was going for Maelstrom, Orchid, Sheepstick, then yeah, the Queen of Pain will be a much more relevant late game threat, but Necrobook is an item that does tend to fall off in its effectiveness when you progress down a game. So for GGuard, where's their scaling going to come from? Like, they still have like refresher orbs and stuff like that to buy for the Zeus, who now has an Aghanim's Thunder God's Wrath. But if that burst ever fails to kill CSW down the line, if they grab pipes, BKBs, or whatnot, then GGuard will be awkwardly scrambling for answers, because they're all in on the magical damage, and that magic damage does eventually fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen for the moment, though. Still a lot of passivity happening around the map. We still have Wedding Crash as well as our Bloodseeker just farming their next core items. Our Bloodseeker's starting to get relatively tanky, and that's going to be a problem, especially when GGuard's running that... I can't speak English today. Especially when GGuard's running so much magical bursts. So I want to see how they're going to counteract this Bloodseeker eventually. They can use Winter to always keep him locked down, but if you blow everything on that Bloodseeker, you still have to deal with that Lina. But I guess the Bloodseeker at this point is CSW's only hope for the late game. I want to say Lina could be as well, but it depends on how she's going to build that hero, and it looks like she's going to go for a BKB next. She's got the Ogre Club going on the courier, I believe, or is it a full... No, it's just the Ogre Club, so... She's going to go for BKB. That's going to help so much against GGuard. Not with the Sonic Wave, I suppose, and not with the Berserker's Call, but just the Zeus, the Scarith Mage, even the little bit of burst that Abaddon can throw out as well. So Lina, she's gone for a defensive item next. So it's not really going to help her right-clicks. I would love to see this Lina build something like an MKB or even a Daedalus or even a Desolator, just to help with some of these physical right-clicks for the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing for Yamate. He can go down a very similar item path, but it seems like holding the Ultimate Orb right now might actually be a Lincoln Sphere. You have a couple of great things to block from CSW, but Sheepstick is probably the item that he's going to look for. CSW, they're going to smoke up. They have a Hawk roaming around. They had a pretty nice Observer Ward spotting some movement, but unfortunately that movement is already too late to act upon. GGuard, they're jammed up in their base, maybe going to smoke themselves if they have one. They do not. Okay, they don't have one. They just know that CSW are smoked up. An observer ward plays here. I don't believe it saw the smoke, although with GGuard's positioning, it kind of indicates that it does. So CSW trying for some aggression, trying to use this roar and the Laguna Blade to get some kills. It's not going to work. And now GGuard, they're actually all grouped up. They probably can't just make a random push happen out of nowhere, though. It's a little bit too dangerous with the killing power that CSW have right now. They have to get a pick off first, I think, if GGuard are going to get this tower, but they're playing this game really, really super slowly. Hanamitis are not on the Zeus. I don't think this is how you win the game as GGuard, unless they catch CSW sleeping at the wheel.
Yeah, it's surprising. Ben has actually helped quite a bit for GGuard in a lot of the team fights, not even having to be there. He just has to throw Thunder Gods out. That's all he really has to do. If he's there for the fights, it's a bonus, I suppose. But yeah, this Zeus, he was the safe lane farmer for GGuard. He's supposed to be, I want to say safe lane carries, they're supposed to be the heroes that are your insurance heroes. So if you have your other 4 heroes, your 2 supports, your offlane, and your mid laner, just going for those roams together, just grabbing the kills. If anything goes wrong, you can always fall back onto your safe laner. But because it's a Zeus, it's a bit of a different story. He's kind of like that second mid laner for GGuard. He doesn't really scale too well. He will pretty much cap out once he has all of his items. I suppose the Refresher Orb along with the Aghanims. He's got the Ag, so probably Refresher going to be the next item pickup, unless he wants to go for that Bloodstone like you mentioned, because he does have a Soul Ring. Does he actually have any other components on the courier? Nope, we're just going to get a gem for net here.
Well, mid lane, they're going to pop the Necro Books. The True Sight one will get taken out without seeing the Treant Protector. And that Necro Book army didn't really do that much to this tower. Again, living armor on Kite means that if GGuard don't get the towers, then they will just they will put on irrelevant chip damage in the grand scheme of things. This is kind of where GGuard are going to wish that their axe was not an axe. If they had like an offlane Bristleback, then I think going for this Queen of Pain Zeus as like a, as you said, double mid lane combo is probably going to be a little bit better. They have someone to fall back on. Bristleback is a fantastic hero to put all your eggs in, but they don't exactly have that right now. And Lincoln Sphere from Yamate, though it's going to help keep him alive, is not really going to help keep him alive versus this Bloodseeker, who is actually going to go for Vit Booster Ogre Club. To my knowledge, that doesn't build into anything, but you know what? That's fine, because BKB, Heart down the line, should be fine, I suppose, for this Bloodseeker, going for a very, very defensive build. And he can get away with it because, again, it's all magic damage coming out from GGuard. Wedding Crash, he is invised up. Yamate's Lincoln Sphere is not on his person just yet. I think Wedding Crash can kill off this Queen of Pain. Only if she lands her LSA. There it is. There's the Laguna. Dragon Slave, Overgrowth. Yamate's down. And that Lincoln Sphere would have helped quite a bit, I think. But there's a level 1 Leech Seed to pop that. So this Queen of Pain is going to be vulnerable to that type of initiation for pretty much the entire duration of this game until she gets a BKB. And that's nowhere close.
Yeah, so good play for CSW, just getting on the other side of the map, going for their own kill. And that's actually a big hero as well. It's Yamate. It's one of the main, or if not the main, damage dealer on the side of GGuard. So that's 40 seconds of him not being on the map, and there's no buyback on him. CSW are going to feel pretty content in just continuing on farming these heroes. There's so much farm in this game. I don't think I've ever seen a Southeast Asian game with so much ricing in it. It's been a very long time. When was the last time we actually saw a very slow C game? I haven't seen one for maybe a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, probably just like random games that show up with Naga Siren or something, and then you're like, oh, it's a farm game. It's gonna be one of those. It's a miracle
game.
But this started out as such a high action game. Like GGuard got a very early 4-man wipe. They got like a 3-for-1 or something like that shortly after. And then since then, they've just been pretty much doing nothing. So a little bit of an awkward pacing to this game, but hell, it looks like both sides are just going to be content with thinking that their late game is superior. I'd love to see a Veil right now from someone on GGuard, anyone, I don't even care who. Even though, you know, Sonic Wave is pure damage, the burst damage from the Zeus is real, especially when combined with the Skyrath Mage, who, with that Staff Wizardry, most likely is not going to be going for that Veil. That's kind of disappointing, but again, they're letting this Bloodseeker farm up a hell of a lot. His BKB is shortly incoming, and GGuard, they're just postured up to defend Roshan. Unfortunately for them, top lane is pushing in, so someone should be dealing with that, else this tower take a lot of damage. They know that Roshan is up, but they should know that CSW also know that it's up, because Beastmaster Hawk is always a thing. So they can't actually go in and clear it, GGuard. They, in fact, don't even have enough damage to quickly clear it out. It'll take them a very long time.
Yeah, that's, well, That's the problem when you draft a predominantly magical based lineup. You just don't have the right clicks to really take down the Roche. So we're seeing the weakness of GGuard's draft now, and I'm pretty sure GGuard knows this better than us because they're playing it. And they can't push the towers because they can't really finish those towers off relatively quickly. They're worried into fighting into CSW now because they know that if they get caught, they're going to be in a lot of trouble because they're running a Bloodseeker. If they don't kill that Bloodseeker ASAP, he's going to get that passive, and that passive is going to give CSW's allies a lot of vision to take them down, and also because this Bloodseeker is getting so big as well, he's going to be quite a force to be reckoned with. BKB has just been picked up on him too, so this might be the chance for CSW to make a move.
Ruptured up again, but he will walk out of the circle of death, and he will be just fine. That was probably not the ideal rupture. Winter took pretty much no damage from it, and he did buy enough space for his team to take a tier 2. A small victory for GGuard, yet a victory nonetheless, only if they retreat without any casualties, and they will. So they walk in, take a tier 2 tower. Where was that play, 10 minutes ago? They could have done that pretty easily. Nothing has really changed for the GGuard side, but hell, more gold is never going to be a bad thing. And now roaching for GGuard, though still very, very slow, is a little bit more of a possibility, limiting the way CSW can reinforce. But ultimately, that tier 2 tower doesn't actually mean that much in this game. They are looking like they want to smoke once again, but they're once again without any smoke, so that's probably not going to be happening. Oh, this is a very awkwardly stalled out game. Both sides sitting on so much firepower, yet unwilling to actually commit until GGuard, I guess the 35-minute timing. I don't think this is a thing, but they're just going to go for another tier 2 tower. Sure, why not? This tier 2 tower back up to full HP because of that living armor. Godot has a Blink Dagger Roar ready to go, plus there's a Rupture again, because Rupture does have such a low cooldown. They're going to run into net. He has a gem, he's going to see everyone. There goes the Circle of Doom. Winter going to blink right into it, get the call onto 2. Sonic Wave through those 2, and we can't pretend it's already down. No BKB activation there from the Bloodseeker because of that stun. First things off, Wedding Crash. He will get out of there with his life. At least he will dodge the cull, but the Queen of Pain's right on her ass, and that's going to be 4 kills for this GGuard side. Maybe a 5th as this Arcane Bolt. That's not quite going to be lethal, but I'm pretty sure Yamate can blink in and clean this one up. Yes, he will do just that. Winter's going to join him as well. It's a triple for Yamate and a complete team wipe for GGuard. The initiation from Axe, spot on, 2-man call, and well, ordinarily the Bloodseeker should be doing more than that, but when you get called, you can't get your BKB up, then you're just going to be food.
Yeah, that was a really good initiation coming out from GGuard. I think I finally unraveled them as a team. They were waiting to find the right time to fight, because we saw beforehand what happened
like, they were
when
just
they're separated.
wandering around.
Yeah, they were kind of wandering around. They just felt kind of lost. And then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I found my purpose in life. Kill this Bloodseeker. Kill him, and that's it. That's their purpose in life.
I would agree
but they
with
did have
you,
a very
but
good
they
fight.
were never actually looking for those kills. Like, that's the first time in a long time they've actually grouped up as 5.
Well, they are getting objectives now, and they've gotten the T3 tower. They are going to try and grab this ranged rack that's not going to heal, so it's going to be a relatively quick and easy pick. Now, are they going to commit for the melee rack? So Yamate's by himself, Net's behind him, and the rest of the team's kind of just slowly dispersing at this point. CSW, I'm pretty sure they were itching for another fight if GGuard was going to overextend, but no. GGuard going to play it safe. They're just going to back up. They grab the easy racks, and I think they're just going to go for Roche at this point. Actually, I don't even think they're going to go for Roche, because they're just going to skip the big boy.
Yeah, they just don't have enough damage to kill it off. I said it before, the only way that GGuard actually get a push going is if they win a team fight, then they get all the buildings for free. And that's exactly what happened. They walk in, take a tier 3, take the range racks, and then disengage before CSW are up again. CSW do have very low cooldown timers, so the Overgrowth Supernova combo is something to be fearful of. Of course, a single target initiation with the Rupture Roar also threatening. Thunder God's Wrath will see pretty much everything, but likewise for CSW, they have a whole bunch of birds in the air, and GGuard are also all spotted out. So this Roshan should be possible for CSW to grab if they actually want to push their luck and try to grab it. If they had a Vlad or something, Bloodseeker can probably just do this by himself, but they don't, unfortunately, so they will be forced to awkwardly sit outside the Roche pit as both sides are just waiting for someone to make a move. Zeus does have a Refresher Orb and Aghanim Scepter combo right now, and I don't think it's one-hit kill territory, or I guess two-hit kill territory on anyone just yet, but that's still a hell of a lot of magic damage when combined with the Sonic Wave especially. And Yamate actually has gone for a little bit more of a DPS-oriented build now, grabbing that Maelstrom, but this is going to be an awkward standoff, and while this is happening, no one's really getting that much farm. Like, GGuard are occasionally going to clear the lanes, CSW are occasionally going to clear some Ancients, but that's a minor amount of farm.
Yeah, it's it's a really awkward stalemate for both teams, but I think CSW are going to make the move here. We've got GGuard rotating up towards the top. I can't help but feel like they're making the assumption that somebody's in the jungle. So they are going to rotate together. Nobody is there though, never mind, they're just going to try and go for a bait. Yamate's going to be the first one to show himself off. Nat's in the back lines as well as Winter, but CSW, where are their priorities? They're going to try and figure this out. They're going to back up with Godot as well as their Treant Protector. They have one TP back, which is going to be 2D on their Phoenix, but he's the only one in base at the moment, so everyone is slowly coming back. We've got one TP on the sidelines here. Got to be very careful. They cannot afford to be caught out by Winter. There are very few buybacks. There's only one. Oh.
No gem,
Oh,
though.
no.
Net is a little bit too far behind. There's the dust, however. Overgrowth forced out. Where's the Supernova? Not quite here yet. They get the roar onto Winter, but he also gets force staffed out. The Lina combo is going to be enough to work down Winter eventually. Supernova is going to erupt into the back lines, do pretty much nothing. Now here comes the Bloodseeker. BKB this time is popped. Sonic Wave through 3, though. It's going to do quite a bit of damage, but now Yamate doesn't have BKB of his own. He'll get LSA'd, and he will get very quickly brought down. Ben doing the magic damage he can with the double ultimate, but it seems like CSW might have a fighting chance here. Lina still working down that Zeus. Will get the kill, but Yamate's still alive. He blinked out previously. Now Godot up on the high ground. He's going to try to TP out. Looks like he'll be the sole survivor once again. That looked like such a great fight from CSW because they finally get some initiation, but it just wasn't enough. They kill off the Axe, and then they kind of fizzle from there. Now Yamate is just going to go straight for the rest of this mid lane. Blink forward from Godot. He'll throw some axes. He does not have his ultimate, though, nor does Lina for another 5 seconds, and by the time that 5 seconds is over, Yamate is either going to be gone or he'll kill the Raxes. Either way, it's good for the Radiant side. Sonic Wave through onto Godot once again. There's the Laguna Blade. Yamate still surviving. He is going to go down to the end, trying desperately to kill off the melee Raxes. Cardi. Is Cardi going to do it? I don't think so. Lina just does way too much damage. So melee Rax is going to survive for another day. It's an absolute bloodbath, but still GGuard do not get what they came for.
Oh man, that was... I don't want to say it was tragic for GGuard because they did win the majority of the fight. That was so close as well. You mentioned it. Oh god, it was... I was on my seat just seeing whether or not this Bloodseeker could manage to grab a kill for himself, but he just got bursted down so quickly. And the problem that happened was I feel like the Bloodseeker popped his BKB a little bit too early into the fight. He was hoping that GGuard would try and go for a jump maybe onto him because he was the frontline hero, but GGuard was retreating. And when that BKB was down, your Bloodseeker is going to still be very vulnerable as a hero. He's melee, he's got no gap closes, so if he gets caught out, he's got no way to get out of there unless there's a 4-staff on the side of CSW, which there is none. So if Bloodseeker commits, he's got to commit. There is a Roche attempt coming out from CSW, but this might be problematic because GGuard is going to be coming in with their entire draft. Queen of Pain's still down for 15 seconds. Is this enough time? They're going to jump right onto the Treant Protector. They're going to finish it off with the Mystic Flare, so that's going to be the tree already down. Dive forward by 2D. He's trying to zone out the 3 heroes. They do get Winter, though. So that's going to be 2 heroes down, but Yamate's going to come up relatively soon. Can they finish this Roche? It looks like they will. So again, we get another Roche going in the way of CSW, and this is the second Roche of the game, so no cheese up until our 3rd Roche.
And Queen of Pain's back up alive. Wedding Crash has a double life, but the Bloodseeker's so weak right now. He'll luckily limp away to the right side, but he uses his BKB out of desperation there. Wedding Crash also used the BKB, expecting more than Winter to just jump in. Now Wedding Crash is actually not in a great position. There's a smoke up. Ling is going to open up with the concussive. Here comes Yamate. Yule Scepter will dodge a little bit of damage from this Lina. And it looks like it'll actually get her home free and clear. I thought GGuard was still going to go for that, but yeah, they get the Treant for the Axe trade, but CSW now have control of the Aegis, and GGuard, even though Yamate is back up alive, can't really do that much, and it looks like they'll just back off. Really, these tight corridors are when GGuard really fight at their best. It was the Sonic Wave, I think, from Yamate that really turned the fight of that previous fight, and if that's not going to happen, if they fight in an open area like the base of CSW, where there's so many ways and positions that CSW can actually initiate these fights in, then the Sonic Wave becomes a lot worse, then Yamate as a hero becomes a lot worse. So GGuard, they have to wait for these openings again, and now that they have the Axe, they could look for it, but again, they have to go through Wedding Crash twice, and this is a tough kill. Lina has a lot of stats now, especially with this new ultimate orb pickup on her, so it's most likely going to be GGuard just backing off, and we're going to have a very similar game state to what we just had just 8 minutes ago, as GGuard try to wait out this Lina's Aegis. CSW, can they get anything while they actually have this Aegis? This is the time to do it, but do they feel comfortable enough to leave their base? Their buyback status is not looking fantastic. It's just the Bloodseeker with one.
Yeah, it'll be a very difficult kill. I feel like if CSW wants to go for a kill, they're going to have to be the ones to go for the initiation, because GGuard, they're just waiting for the Aegis. They don't have to fight. They don't need to fight. So they're just going to back up and just keep farming. Just waste CSW's time. Because CSW, they're clumping up as a team. They're worried about a push. That's not happening. And when they're clumping up, they're not getting farm. They're not getting EXP. They're just not sticking to GGuard in terms of farm. They're just really falling off the graph. It's still going heavily into GGuard's favor. They're sitting at about a 17k net worth lead. It's closing in towards 20k, whereas net worth, I can't see it because somebody's just come online. Please go offline. But looks like for the moment we're just going to have these lanes consistently pushed by GGuard. They're just going to play defensive, just keep farming, keep the lanes pushed, wait for the Aegis to go down, and that's going to be their moment to try and push up onto the high ground yet again.
Alright, so let's do a quick item check while both teams are just kind of chilling. Axe has picked up his Aghanim Scepter. I'm not really sure how much I like Aghanim Scepter on Axe this late in the game. Maybe one of those plate mail items would have done a little bit better for him, but who cares? It's already up. Yamate is packing another ultimate orb, so that's a lot more stats for him, but that's most likely going to be turned into a sheep stick. And Scarthmate has a bloodstone. They do see Winter CSW. Does Winter know that he's spotted? He does not. He definitely does not, although he is going to blink out, seeing the Hawk overhead. And that is going to mean that he's going to get away from that situation free and clear. Zeus still working with that double ultimate. And the Abaddon Net is actually working on his Aghanim Scepter. It's been such a long time since I've seen this. It's a hard item to see if it actually has any impacts, but rest assured it does. Whereas for CSW, the Aghanim Scepter is coming up on the Beastmaster Wedding Crash with that Ultimate Orb item is working on that, as well as the Bloodseeker, who has completed his BKB, has used it twice, both times to limited effectiveness, however. So though it's still a relatively fresh BKB, hasn't really been used that great. So yeah, these items, they're definitely coming up, and it's I didn't really expect this game to get to a 6-slot status. We're still not there quite yet, but Yamate is quickly closing in, and CSW, they're not too far behind. So this will be a kind of interesting game, because these heroes, while 6-slotted, some of them are slightly more powerful than the others, but there's no clear winner here except for maybe the Bloodseeker. But even then, he's not doing that hot. Aegis Timer, it's still burning down, and Wedding Crash and his team have yet to really make a play with this Aegis, except for that one attempted kill on the Axe, which unfortunately for them didn't pan out. Are they just going to try to brute force their way through mid? I don't know if that's going to work out unless they get this Yamate pick off. That will open the doors wide open for them, but no, GGuard, they're going to back off. Again, they don't have to fight. They don't want to fight into this Aegis.
Yeah, so good stuff by GGuard, but CSW, they're doing the right play. They have to. They have to go into GGuard, because there's no way that GGuard's going to fall for the trap. So we'll see if Kansei Whips can break through this shield that GGuard has managed to form. They're sitting on the high ground, so maybe they're prepared to just give away this mid T2 tower. There's no one really here. Winter could go for a jump, but there is a small gap, I suppose, they could really work with, which is going to be this section here, but I think it's just so much safer for them to wait onto the high ground and hope that CSW engage up there, but it looks like they're just going to back off. CSW, they're so scared, they just don't want to lose any more fights.
Well, their Aegis is going to be reclaimed soon, so maybe if they made that play, or there it is, it's immediately reclaimed. So maybe if they made that play a little bit earlier, then they could have actually gone for the entire thing. They could have gotten that tower. But Roshan is actually going to be, if I read that correctly, at an absolute minimum respawn timer, 3 minutes after that Aegis was reclaimed. So there you go on the clock. It's going to be another Roshan up pretty soon, and nothing is really going to change until then. Maybe a couple of heroes get their final items. Queen of Pain has grabbed that sheep stick completed now, farming towards the buyback, and maybe you ship out the Necro Book, although having that tree sight versus the tree, certainly very useful. GGuard, they're going to group up as 5, and they're going to take a smoke. They're going to run potentially into Godot. No, everyone from CSW just going to bail out. There was a Hawk that was kind of in the area, although I don't think it was actually spotted. It might have been because they're all backing off again. So, okay, this is certainly a very exciting game of Dota. They're just going to look for something, but they're not going to find anything. I think I've seen this one a couple of times before. They're not even going to get any D wards out. So this smoke, not going to do that much for GGuard.
It's just been a game of cat and mouse for both teams. Whenever one team goes for a smoke, everyone just hides in the base for the other team. If the other team goes for a smoke, then the other team goes and just hides in their base. So very defensive plays. We haven't really seen too many fights happen now. It's coming into the late game. both teams. They feel the weaknesses of their drafts, and they can't really afford to lose any heroes in the fights because they don't really have anyone like a Tinker. They've got no boots or travels to speak of, so no one can really go back into the fights as soon as possible. So we have a top tower that's fallen in favor of CSW, so it's going to be a little bit more gold going in their way. Hopefully that's going to help them towards one of their big item pickups. Let's see if we're going to get anything soon. A lot of gold is sitting on chains. He's sitting on 3.4. I think he's going to go right into a heart. I can't really see him building anything else. It's going to help him just because it will give him that extra HP to live through that burst, or the initial burst from GGuard. But aside from that, though, he needs something to help him in the damage department. He just doesn't really have that many damage items to speak of.
Yeah, if you get super tanky as any hero, you need some threat to actually make the enemies focus you. Because right now, Bloodseeker isn't really doing that much damage. They're going to jump in, grab Wedding Crash though. Mystic Flare, Wedding Crash going to die immediately. There's the ultimates from the tree and the Phoenix, but the egg is being worked down. Yamate has so much attack speed, they'll crack the egg. And now here comes the Bloodseeker with the Blade Mail and BKB active. He'll force Yamate to blink away, but she does actually get away. Now the ultimate is refreshed. Godot going to drop very, very low. Wedding Crash now going to be refocused in. She does Yules herself, but that's going to land her right into an axe or a bolt or something. Silent Circle is going to drop, only hitting onto Ling though. It's a 3-for-0 so far in favor of GGuard. Once again, it's impeccable initiation from Winter. I mean, it wasn't exactly the best, but it was enough to kill off, one, and then that kind of just led into its own thing. It's 3 heroes down right now, or has been 3 heroes down as the Phoenix did just buy out, but what is the Phoenix actually going to do? By himself can't do that much. They're going to catch the Bloodseeker. The Blade Mail is up. Ling's going to die to the Blade Mail. Bloodseeker's instantly going to buy out again. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but the Scarth has so many Bloodstone charges. He'll be back up soon enough. Yamate is going to blink awkwardly towards Godot, but luckily for him, not punished. Blink in right again for Winter. Sonic Wave through 2, and they'll chop out the head of the Beastmaster, then go for the Phoenix. It's the Zeus to claim that second one. No, yes it is. It's a double kill for Winter at the end of it, and they're going to call GG. This game was so freaking weird, like so much farming and then one decisive team fight and it's over.
Yep. Welcome to the old school. I guess it's just like old ricing Dota, where everyone would just keep on farming, just build towards the climax. That big team fight would happen and it would probably be really lame and it'll just finish as an anti-climax. That's how it felt like, really.
You heard it here first, guys. The team fight was really lame. Put that in quotation marks, print it out, put it on the fridge. But guys, this is a best of 3, so Kansai Whips have one more shot to tie it up, and then, well, they're $500 still potentially in reach. They just need to draft, I think, a little bit more for the late game if they're going to actually plan for this. But either way, GGuard are going to take game 1, and we'll be right back, guys, for game number 2. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Danelie, and we'll both be right back.